Hello there. How are you, sir?
Hi there. I'm very well, thank you. I am fabulous. How are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty dang good.
It's bank holiday, isn't it? Bank holiday Monday.
Yeah, not the Easter, the other one.
No, just the other one. And then we've got another one next time.
Yeah, what's going on? Why is it during this time everyone needs to have so many bank holidays?
I don't know. In my head, I'm just thinking, spread them out. I don't need 5 in a month.
Because you go through April and May having at least 3 of them, or something like that, and then the rest of the year, it's like, okay, you know what, you've had enough. Let's wait until Christmas.
No holidays for the banks.
Is there another one in August or something like that?
Maybe
a little bit. Yeah. Spread them out. Have one a month. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And
you could select it. Have a personal day. Well, that's just a day off from work, isn't it?
Yeah. There are some companies that allow you to switch your bank holidays to another day. So
we should implement that at our company, Patting Chips.
Patting the chips today. And with that note, speaking of patting chips, here's the jingle. My name is Leslie, one half of Chatting Pitch, and the other guy in front of me is...
I am Matthew D. Smith. Thank you for joining us again. If you're not someone who's joining us again, if you're a first-time listener, watcher, our podcast, what's our podcast about, Leslie? It's about movies.
Yeah, it's about movies, sometimes about TV shows, sometimes... And today we're going to be talking about... sometimes we actually... The reason why there's the word pitch in our podcast is because pitch, nothing to do with football.
No.
Nothing to do with music.
No.
Nothing to do with the other one that pitch means.
Farming.
With
your fork. Yeah.
With your forks or pitchforks. No. We're talking about movie pitches. And... what's different about our movie review podcast is that it's not always about movie reviews. It's also about pitching ideas to each other. We like to pretend like we're in the writer's room and we want to say, hey, some of the producers that haven't died yet, do you want to have a movie idea?
Hey, Jane Bruckheimer, shut up for a second.
You're still alive.
Yeah.
But shut up for a second.
Hey, the corpse of Don Simpson. What do you have to say?
What was that thing that you sent me the other day about Dom Simpson?
Oh, it was. I don't know if it was a biography or what. It was, an excerpt from a book that talked about his let's say copious drug intake. For it was stuff where it started off as he takes this for anxiety and this for this medical and this for this medical condition, and then loads of cocaine.
Right at the end, just dropped it. And then heaps of cocaine.
Yeah.
Anyway, he died. Was that the reason he died? Oh, I'm not actually entirely sure how he passed away.
I've got to think that it contributed.
It contributed.
Maybe it didn't.
Maybe.
Don't know.
Well, I was only
but
last
we only
week
bring
years
up,
old.
We're not laughing at him. We're more laughing because we've spent several years naming him as a producer that we want to listen to our pitches, and we didn't even realize he was deceased. So,
no wonder why we weren't getting a call back.
Yeah.
It
wasn't just the phone line that was dead. Yeah.
Anyway,
Jerry Bruckheimer, though, what's your excuse?
Yeah, making another Pirates movie. Well, listen to this.
Pirates, but they're in the Caribbean.
You know what? This movie that we're about to talk about today is a sequel of a movie that came out 8-9 years ago, potentially. I'm not sure.
A while
it was
ago,
a while ago.
Not quite legacy sequel.
It's not. No, it's a direct sequel.
Yeah. Oh, but you know what I mean? Like legacy sequel, where it's a
sequel that's been made
25 years later.
Yeah, but these guys look pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But the reason why I frame it in that way is it feels like whoever made this movie was pitching it to a producer in the sense that, hey, we need an original IP that hasn't been done before. You know what hasn't been done before? An action hero who's also an accountant. Yeah. We're talking about The Accountant 2, ladies and gentlemen.
And if you didn't know from that clue, here's another clue. We're going to do some dialogue from the movie. Braxton, don't do that, Braxton.
Okay, you haven't seen the first one, have you?
No. So it's going to be interesting because you've seen the first one. I did go to see it with my dad, who had seen the first one.
Okay.
So he filled me in on a little bit, but it was very much like he gave me like 2 notes before the movie because I was actually quite interested to see would it work, having not seen the first one.
As a standalone movie.
Yeah.
Which,
I think it does.
I think you think it does?
I think
because
it does.
There are action movies, like more recent ones, that do have a sort of anthology style series. Like, for instance, did you ever watch The Equalizer with Denzel Washington?
Right. Yeah.
You watch those 3 movies, none of them are connected other than the fact that Denzel Washington's the leading man.
Yeah.
I watched Equalizer 3 with my dad, and he hadn't seen number 1 or 2. Yeah. And he was like, hey, this is a neat little action movie. Not realizing that there were 2
I wonder
other
if
ones.
they've made more.
Yeah. It was like, oh, that's an interesting title, Equalizer 3. I would have thought they wouldn't start at 3. And then I said, Dad, this is the 3rd one. He's like, oh, I thought maybe that was his name. Oh. Equalizer the 3rd.
Maybe it is. Maybe we just don't know yet.
Yeah.
Because he would have the same name, wouldn't he, if he was the 3rd?
Exactly. You think of Henry VIII. No one's seen the first 7, have they?
Yeah, exactly. But Henry VIII works as a stand-alone sequel.
The Accountant 2. Or as we call it, The Accountant Squared, for some reason.
That's how the titles are presented for some reason.
That's how maths work.
I guess that means The Accountant times The Accountant.
Yeah.
Mathematically speaking. There's not a lot of accounting in this. I would like to ask you, was there a lot of accountancy stuff? Because apart from near the very start where he was talking about, send that money that person owes me to this account and this one to this account. And then after that, he was just...
There was a moment where he did a beatdown of some dude, and while he was looming over him, he just gave him like tax facts. He was like,
yeah. He was talking about his tax return, so,
dividends.
He did a bit of accountancy.
He did a little bit of that, but then for the most part, really wasn't anything to do with any taxes at all. No,
I'd say the film is unusual in that it almost completely glosses over the fact that he does accountancy for criminals, because that's the setup, isn't it? That he's the accountant and drug cartels.
Had you seen the first one, you probably would have that as context. So I think anyone going in watching The Accountant 2 and realizing there's not a whole lot of accountancy in this movie, like imagine going in not even seeing the poster. And you'd be like, a movie about all these
imagine going
men.
to Mission Impossible and then it's the second one and he just goes to the shop for some milk. And you're like, that wasn't that difficult. I mean, it went up 30p a pint. That's about it. But he had his debit card, so he was all right.
I watched The Equalizer 2, and I was like, this guy's terrible at maths.
He's not equalizing anything.
No.
If anything, he's putting too much on one side, making it more unequal to begin with.
So how did you find The Accountant Squared as a standalone movie?
I did enjoy it. I know that.
Take all the accountancy stuff aside. The lore behind it.
Yeah, those 45 seconds where he did accountancy stuff. Yeah. I mean, obviously there were bits where I thought, okay, if I'd seen the first one, this would be slightly deeper. Because for example, my dad, he quickly leaned over and whispered, like, J.K. Simmons, he was hunting Ben Affleck in the first one.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he said as a shorthand, he couldn't remember the actor's name, so he just said, J. Jonah Jameson's been hunting Ben Affleck. And I was like, that's great. I want the accountant.
By the way, son, this guy, get me pictures of Spider-Man. He was hunting pictures of Spider-Man.
I heard the accountant was there. it worked because I could still work out, okay, J.K. Simmons has some sort of connection to Ben Affleck. And really, there were bits of the plot of The Accountant too. There were times where I was not following what was happening. Even that didn't matter. So even the plot I was privy to, I didn't fully understand in places until I purposefully actually connected the dots. It's not one that you can sit there and go and just let wash over you. If you want to follow the plot, you have to sit there and go, oh, okay, so that person does it. Blah, blah, blah.
I've got something to add on that.
It's not like Inception level where it's going to confuse you.
No.
But go on.
Like, you know how you said
you add away.
So I think that it's interesting that you said that you were piecing things together while watching it, not knowing anything prior to it. It's been a hot minute since I watched The Accountant 1. And even I was struggling to kind of follow exactly what was going on with the movie, only because I don't know if it was the fact that I had forgotten a lot of what happened in the first movie, or if it just felt very convoluted, because there were times where I was watching it and thinking, oh, how did we get here? And there were lots of moving parts in this movie. And there was a moment where I just thought, what is happening?
Yeah.
There's this why don't we just talk about the story for a sec?
Yeah, let me just multiply something there. I would say I appreciate.
You came into this podcast episode.
I know I've got
thinking
all the
about
vocab. Being a junior school teacher, I've got it all. Take away, divide.
Yeah, the square root of this movie is.
Let me square root something for you.
Pi.
I appreciated that in some ways, the film did not spoon feed. I appreciated that. Although I will say I'm not a huge fan of intertitles. You know, when you get the little things coming up on the screen.
Okay.
64
Homeland Security.
Yeah. So Homeland Security, 65 miles south of Washington. And there was literally one where I think it had the sign. There was a sign of where it was, and then it came up in little words at the bottom. And I just thought three quarters of the screen is taken up with where we are right now, when it doesn't.
Ben Affleck's house, and it's just Dunkin' Donuts.
But I think it did say something like a version of it was like Homeland Security on the wall, and then Homeland Security. Yes, I know. But for the most part, the film doesn't spoon feed. I would say the action is pretty decent. I don't know how it compares to the first one. It's okay. It's nothing like, whoa.
Here's my hot take on it. I think the action was the least interesting part of the movie.
Okay.
I actually enjoyed the bits in between more than I did the action.
Did you like the brother comedy stuff? That's what I
did.
Yeah,
I did. But let's talk about what the movie's about first. So
sure.
This accountant, he's so good that he also knows kung fu and knows how to bear arms. Yeah, gun fu. But all that was explained in the first movie, and I won't spoil the first movie unless you don't mind, or anyone who's listening doesn't mind. But yeah, there's a background to it. There is a reason why he knows all this stuff, and it's due to his upbringing. And he is trying to investigate all these moiders,
All these moiders.
All these moiders.
Can we have 1 week without a moider?
So right off the top of the movie, I mean, this might be a bit of a spoiler, but an important figure has been murdered, and it's up to Ben Affleck to try and find the perpetrator. And there's this really convoluted story on as to how this particular assassin came to be. And that's the one thing I said earlier that I was like, how did we get here, and what's going on here?
Sure.
Because it felt like a plot contrivance to me.
Okay.
But he is also joined by his brother. So what are the characters again? It's Christian Walker,
Christian
right?
Wolf and
Braxton Wolf, yeah.
Who meet very briefly at the end of the first one, so I've been told.
Yes.
Don't want to spoil it anymore if you want to watch the first one.
Yeah.
But they meet very briefly at the end of the first one, and then in this one, they're very much firmly together. Not from the start.
No. It's been explained that they've been estranged for about 8 years or so.
Yeah.
Which is almost the same amount of time between the first movie and the second movie. It's almost like they thought of that before. One thing I also noticed that Anna Kendrick was in the first one, but she's not in the second one at all. And I looked up why, and they said there was no logical reason for her to be in the movie.
Oh, okay.
So that's why she didn't come back.
Because I saw a review that also said it's action-packed from the start. Which is not really.
Accountant 1 or 2?
Accountant 2.
Yeah.
Because it also has these more comedic bits where Christian Wolf, Ben Affleck's character, is trying to, find someone.
Yeah.
He's trying to romance it up, which leads to a very funny speed dating sequence.
Yeah.
And I think it's that sort of humor where you're not laughing. Well, it's almost like you're laughing at him and with him at the same time. Right. I feel.
Oh, one thing that we do have to mention is the fact that Ben Affleck's character has a condition, and it's never outwardly said in the movie. I think it was mentioned in the first movie, but he's very clearly on the spectrum. So he finds it difficult to socialize. He finds it difficult to communicate and take in social cues.
Yeah.
And
I would say the best example
and it brings
is when
great comedy. No, I mean, like, we're not laughing at him.
Wacky misunderstandings. No, it's that bit in the bar, and this isn't really a spoiler. He's talking to someone, and they say, "Hey, do you have a music request for the band?" And it's a country and western place.
Yeah.
She doesn't even say that. She says, "What's your favorite song?" And he ends up saying something like "Enter Sandman" by Metallica, and he doesn't understand the like in the context. She's asking for like a song that would fit in a country and western place that the band could play.
And then he catches himself saying something like, "Oh yeah, something a bit more contextual with this establishment."
Yeah. And then his brother asks him about it, and he just says, "That's just not how my brain works."
Yeah.
So it is like you say, you're not. It's not like he's the butt of the joke.
No.
You're laughing. I don't even know if it's laughing at him. You're laughing along with him.
You're laughing at the circumstance that he's in and the situation, and I think
you're watching this relationship where the character of Braxton can take the mickey out of him, can mock him because they're brothers.
Yeah.
And it's that sibling stuff that I quite enjoyed. Sorry, I cut you off there. Go on.
No, that's fine. I mean, it would be much more different if it was somebody else with him. And he's like, "Oh, man, you're so weird, man." And it's like, okay, that would be distasteful. But because his brother says it, it's like he's lived with him and he knows what he's like.
Yeah.
And it's not like they do butt heads, but ultimately they're just looking out for each other, aren't they?
It's sibling bickering. Like even at its worst, within 20 seconds, they both agree to go with each other, even though one of them thinks this plan is a terrible, terrible idea.
Yeah.
So it is. Sibling.
How do we get
it's a sibling comedy movie. Go on.
How do we get to where we're? So we talked about the cowboy bar scene. But then, the Western the cowboy
which has that great still shot of John Bernthal as he's leaping over.
Yeah, that was such an interesting edit choice.
Yeah, I don't know if that was on purpose or if they found it in the editing room and they just thought, let's go with it. But we won't spoil it. But it's really funny.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me a little bit of in Spider-Man 2, where Peter Parker's doing the raindrops keep on my head.
Okay, yeah.
And then at the end, it goes like, "No, will always be true," and then he does this like freeze frame. That was not planned until the editing room. Or like that seemed like such an interesting
it's when
choice.
You see things, and it's like, okay, they found that.
Yeah. Anyway, we haven't really talked about what the story is. So like, what's the main goal of the movie? They're trying to find the killer.
They're trying to find a killer.
There's other things going on.
Has amnesia of some kind. I don't want to spoil it. So she can't remember her life before an accident she had. But it's also her circumstances are linked to the person that J.K. Simmons' character is trying to find, which is a family. He's trying to find a family, and this killer is somehow mixed up with it. And the husband and the child are also missing.
Yeah.
And then it's up to Christian Wolf to sort of help find that family, along with a federal agent of some kind. She works for, I don't know, some Homeland Security type thing. Yeah.
So it's essentially it's like a road trip movie, isn't it?
Yes, with a bit of, I would say, it reminded me a bit of the Tom Cruise, Jack Reacher movies, where you've got a bit of a tad of fantasy fulfillment. Like the scene in the bar where, again, I won't go into too much detail, but someone just unnecessarily rude and aggressive comes up to him, starts a fight, and lo and behold, him and his brother can easily beat them up. And there is a little bit of, I'd say, like that base male wish fulfillment thing that would be similar to that sort of genre.
Kind of like you imagine the scenario in your head.
Like, I wish, that guy who was rude to me in that pub one time, man, I wish I could have done that, because, they also have no consequences because it's a movie. And so there's a bit of that wish fulfillment. Don't go in thinking it's realistic in any way, really.
Oh, it absolutely is not.
And especially they've got that magic house full of magic children who are... Yeah. I need green lights down this road for the next 30 miles.
I saw some comparisons being made to like X-Men and like the school of gifted children.
Okay.
They just have all these superpowers, but their superpower is they're just great at hacking. Yeah. It's very strange. Very strange thing to have in a movie. But it's like Ben Affleck's character, was his name, Christian, like his minions, essentially.
Yeah. It's implied that he's found these people over the years and he's sort of helped them. They've been in situations where that have not been great or ideal for them, and he finds a home for them. And he's very much like, yes, they pretty much do my bidding, but I also provide for them and I give them safety from whatever situation they're in.
I don't remember any of this in the first movie.
Okay, so that's not in the first movie.
I think maybe it was alluding to something. I don't remember it that much.
Okay.
But I do remember the formula of this movie being quite similar to the first movie.
Okay. So was there a lot of buddy comedy stuff?
No, minus the John Bernthal stuff.
Okay.
The Braxton character. But in terms of the structure, it was very much like, here's the accountant. He has it's like a cop procedural thing with the straight man or whatever. Anna Kendrick's character is trying to like figure out what's inside the mind of this accountant, and then he's like Rain Man doing all this stuff.
Right. And she can also be the audience surrogate, so she can ask questions like, "What's next? Where are we going?"
Exactly. But then and then it all mounts up to a crescendo towards the end, and it's like it's almost the same structure, except this time there's a bit more comedy and there's a bit more buddy friend stuff.
And I agree with you that is the highlight of the film.
Yeah, like the bar scene. I think the comedy stuff was the strongest part. Like even the speed dating scene at the beginning was.
I was about to say even the speed. There's a bit in the trailer where he just very bluntly. Talks about where he lives, and he lives in essentially a camper van almost, isn't it? I can't remember what the actual term is, but then he gets asked, "What, for like all your life?" Or like she says forever, and he says, "Well, yeah, eventually, for the rest of my life, because eventually this body will be a corpse." And
and they're all just kind of put off. Like at the beginning, there's a ton of them like lined up because.
Oh yeah, and it's great, because it starts off with that little thing of like, why are they all? Because he goes to this speed dating thing where apparently all the women there decide who to meet first, and all the guys are sat at tables with numbers, and pretty much everyone lines up at his table. Yeah, but then it goes terribly wrong, and it's quite a nice, neat little setup to who he is. It was quite a nice introduction for me, having not seen the first film, to be like, okay, it's this.
He's
is
this
the
type of guy. Yeah. Because I think, I don't remember if it was in the trailer or not, but I know that there was a clip of it released online as to why they're all queuing up for him. And it's because he's somehow figured out a way. He's so smart that he's figured out a way to like hack the system in terms of how to get dates.
Yeah. Or it's almost like not even, or it's part hacking, part just figuring out what
the algorithm or whatever it is.
He understands what the women want without fully understanding what women want.
Yeah. So he's like got these like really cheesy pictures of him smiling like next to...
He works out what's best in a dating profile.
Yeah.
But then when it actually gets to the date, he fails miserably.
Yeah.
Which is in the trailer, so we're not spoiling it. Don't.
Anyway,
don't try.
I guess we can talk about the rating. Don't at us, please,
don't
accountants.
Oh, that would be the worst. Come into our house and
throw at signs at us. Like how Superman throws his S sometimes. So I think I would have loved to have a bit more inventive action in the movie. I don't particularly like it when a movie just does an action sequence for the sake of an action sequence. Okay. And for me, I like it when it becomes... when it's something that I've not seen before. I think we talked about this in Havoc last week, where it just felt like play by numbers for me.
And you wanted that bit in the movie where you went, oh, wow, do you remember that bit when he did that thing with the stuff? Yeah. And
that there wasn't really much of that in this. I walked away thinking like, oh, remember that bit where John Bernthal talked to Ben Affleck? That was great.
Yeah, that was the thing. That's what we're talking about, isn't it? Do you remember the speed dating bit where he said like his corpse and like the bit where he threw away the sun cream and just laughed in his face?
But the fact that it's marketed as an action movie and there's, for me anyway, barely any like memorable action. Yeah, kind of it speaks to me what the tone of the movie was supposed to be. Like it felt like they had a bit of an identity crisis, or it struggled with its identity throughout the movie. It kind of had a buddy cop thing, and then when it became serious, it was like very serious. So I felt like it could have leaned more into the silliness of it. But for that, I think I'm probably just going to give it a chat in. Okay. Like without the G, just a chat in. You were about to say something, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, it's fine. I was going to say that the action is almost superfluous. Okay. Identity-wise, it could have just been a mystery without the violence bits.
Yeah.
And it's funny, as we started talking about it, the movie that's jumped up in my mind is actually Little Miss Sunshine. This family road trip.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I've heard it's good.
I remember it being really fun. I haven't seen it for a while. But
Steve Carell.
It's a family road trip where, things don't go fully according to plan, and there's a lot of clashing personalities. I'm thinking, could you have had that with these two characters without the action?
Yeah.
Maybe they're still on the hunt for someone. Maybe it's still there. Maybe there's still a mystery.
Yeah.
But I guess that
you already
that
set the first one up being an action movie, so you have to kind of give people what they want.
And it also gives good stuff for the trailers, doesn't it?
Yeah. But I feel like if the movie, I mean, I know this would be a spoiler. Anyway, like I'll talk about spoilers in a sec. But what's the rating that you'd give it?
I think I'd agree. I was thinking the same as you. A chat in.
Chat in, yeah.
Yeah. No G.
Okay.
No Chatan, as they say in France. Chatan. That's how they do the potatoes. Sliced
Chatan?
really thin. Yeah, Chatan.
Is that
it's like potatoes gratin, but it's Chatan, so it's slightly different.
Okay. So
sounds a bit rude.
Next time we give it a chat in, we just need to include a little bit of that, like an imagery of potato done French style. Yeah.
Yeah. Swimming in cream.
Spoilers. Let's talk about spoilers for like just 5 minutes. Sure. There's not much for me that I want to say, but that bar scene and the freeze frame towards the end took me by surprise, because felt like it was leading up to a big action bar fight scene, and then it just freeze
I like
frames
that
on.
it didn't.
and then
But
suddenly
his face told the whole story. His face said everything that was going to happen.
Yeah. So the thing is, like in the movie, Ben Affleck's character is confronted by an angry bar goer. I don't know what he had a problem with. He just he was dancing with his
he
girl.
thought that the woman that he was chatting up was like, he saw her as like, she's my girl, and she was
By the way,
I'm not your girl.
Did you find it quite endearing when he figured out that he could line dance?
Yes.
And he was just every now and then, this is great.
Yeah. Well, I really love that. And when it cut to Braxton, like sitting up, and he was like telling everyone, "That's my big brother," like
That's
super proud.
Brother. Yeah.
And I think it says a lot about the film that a lot of it relies on also their chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of genuine chemistry between them, and you can see them as brothers.
Yeah. But no, I found that bit quite funny, and I also felt like there were times, especially when it was just them two talking, there was a surprising amount of heart to it. Like for instance, that scene when they're on top of the camper van, and he's just talking to him, like how he misses him, and he said, "Did you ever miss me? Like, why didn't you reach out to me? Is it because you just don't like me or something?"
Yeah.
I felt like that was just like the strongest, but I found that I would have been fine if the whole movie was just them two chatting on top of a camper van and just hashing things out.
Yeah.
I could have done without the whole, okay, we're in spoiler territory, without the whole sleeper agent thing, who's kind of changed her face.
Amnesia, but also she can pick up skills really quickly. And
yeah. They do a big info dump.
Made her a killing machine.
There's a big info dump moment where they said like there's this condition where you can hit your head so hard that
you become a killer.
You become a superhero. Yeah.
You become a superhero contract killer.
And there's this crash cut where it's like this poor lady. She was been in an accident, went through the windscreen, hit her head, had blunt force trauma, and then had to have her whole face reconstructed, and suddenly she's doing jujitsu.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Well, I guess they have set it up. To be fair, they have set it up. So we're right to assume that, yeah, that checks out. This person can just become a killing machine.
Yeah.
But that was, when I said earlier, I was like, how do we get here? That's the kind of stuff that I just didn't quite buy.
Yeah. Especially with the handy dandy videos they had. Like.
That was the least intriguing part of the movie.
I thought the family stuff was quite almost melancholy, it felt.
Yeah.
Where you had these two people who ostensibly, on paper, they should at least enjoy each other's company, hopefully, because they're brothers, they're family. I mean, not every family gets on, I know, but and it's that sort of melancholy thing of like they both want the other person to reach out, and they don't know quite how to communicate with each other, even though they know each other pretty much inside out.
Braxton is the one who was like waiting for him, and Christian was the one who just didn't reach out because he didn't know how to for years. Yeah. So
because there was that sequence where like Braxton is a horrible contract killer who's like, he's the best of the best, but also there's that realistic vein running through the movie where he's like, hey, I'm a heartless contract killer, but at the same time, like, why didn't you call me all those years?
You really hurt my feelings.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm with you that they could have gotten rid of all the contract killer stuff, which it was handled well enough. I didn't watch any of the action sequences and think this is terrible.
Yeah.
I just thought this is okay.
Yeah. That's how I felt during the third act when I saw the whole obligatory gunfight sequence.
Yeah.
I was just
we're at the finale now, so we need to fight with guns.
Yeah. Because we established that in the first one, we have to do it in the second one. But yeah, I did find a few times throughout the movie, I was kind of checking my watch because I just was not really interested in any of the plot heavy stuff. I was just, like we said, I was more interested in the dynamic between the two brothers than anything. And I think that's as much as we can say about the movie. That's it, really.
I don't think this is one people are going to be writing essays about, for better or worse.
I'm surprised the studio didn't.
Why Braxton represents the 7 sins. That'll be a YouTube video.
Yeah. And then there's somebody else.
Why Christian Wolf doesn't use pronouns, that sort of thing.
I wonder why the studio didn't write the movie off as like a tax write-off,
That
being a movie about. It would have been so
Warner
ironic.
Brothers as well. We've written off The Accountant 3.
Was that actually Warner Brothers?
For the tax return money.
It wasn't Warner Brothers, was it?
I think it was.
No, it was. Oh my gosh, it was Warner Brothers.
It was both of them, MGM and Amazon.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
That joke is evergreen now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we pitch a movie?
Face? Yeah, go on then.
Let's pitch our own movie. I have an idea.
Go on.
What if it's a movie? Well, I have a couple of ideas. I've got one.
Well, that's
idea,
good because I don't.
Well, we could always do Accountant 3 or Accountant Cubed in this instance.
We're going into the Matrix.
Or we could do our own version of what we
got to get inside the maths. Our own version.
Our own version of the Taxman. Well, not Taxman, but the Accountant.
Yeah.
That
would be the British version, the Taxman.
Yeah, Taxman.
Taxman 2, Bank Holiday.
Yeah, why don't we do the British version of the Accountant? Right.
Yeah. Well, Jason Statham, clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
But we don't tell him it's not an action film.
Yeah. And we also don't tell him that we're basically ripping off The Accountant, but in Jason Statham style. I don't get the impression he would mind. No. Here's the thing. It goes hand in hand with all his other profession type action movies. You got the working man. You got the beekeeper, the transporter, the shark killer. He did one of those, right?
Yeah, something like that. Who's that? That's the shark killer.
Taxman. Or the Taxman?
I think the Taxman.
The Taxman. Because you're always worried about the Taxman mailing you.
When the Taxman comes a knocking.
Yeah.
So, this boat be a rocking or something.
You know what he does? He his calling card is like the HMRC letter that comes through the post. And everyone's like, oh no, how much do I owe the Taxman? Open it up.
It's just a picture of Jason Statham pointing at you.
Yeah, pointing at you saying like, you're next. And he busts through the door.
He busts out of the envelope. There's something else in the envelope.
Looks like someone hasn't sent off their tax returns.
Looks like someone's been self-employed.
You
self-employ this.
You haven't taken an account of your personal allowance. 20%.
You thought you could write off this laptop. Well, now I'm going to write it off on your head. Smash.
There's so much to play with. I mean,
so we are making an action movie now. So that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it's an action movie, but
But also we need some convoluted missing persons.
Right.
So who could go missing?
Who could go missing, and why are they going missing? Is it because you know what? He's hunting down somebody who's dodging
His
tax.
Majesty's Royal Crumpet. Go on. He's hunting down what?
Someone is he trying to retrieve someone? Someone's gone missing, so he's trying to find them, or is it the villain has gone missing? In this case, the tax dodger.
I don't think that's convoluted enough. I think that's how we start the movie. That's how we introduce him.
Okay. He's
beating up someone who needs to return their tax, but then that leads to.
Okay.
Like, I couldn't pay my taxes because of the algorithm. Sepia tone. Flashback. And then
Yeah. So does he have family, or is he just like he's his own sort of he's a lone
Yeah, do we do
runner?
a twist on this? Is
Yeah.
he a loner or we'll come back to that. Let's put a pin in that.
In the Working Man, he was a loner, but he was trying to help a family find their missing child. You know?
It's raining and the washing's out.
Do you want to go deal with that real quick?
No, that's fine. We're going through a thing. It's wet now. See, the thing is, making a character be by themselves is simpler for the plot when you're writing the plot.
Right.
But maybe we could have someone in his family being linked with the plot in some convoluted way.
Okay. So
maybe he's got a brother who's really good at writing algorithms. When that tax dodger's like, I couldn't pay the taxes because of algorithm, he can be like, wait a minute, my brother writes algorithms. And then he goes to his brother's house, and his brother is not there anymore.
Oh, no.
Wait a minute, my brother's normally living in his house.
Who looks like Jason Statham? There's a ton of people, maybe.
Any bald man. Bruce Willis.
Oh, no, we can't do
that. Is that old joke, that clip from Never Mind the Buzzcocks from like 20 years ago?
Oh, yeah. Jason.
How many Mobies are there? Michael Stipe. Moby.
Michael Stipe.
Michael
Chiklis.
We'll get Michael Chiklis.
Yeah, Michael Chiklis.
I don't think he's been given a fair shot in Hollywood. He did Fantastic Four, and that wasn't fair to anyone.
And Ultimate Force. Was that? No, that was Ross Kemp. That was the other one. Oh, they're all blend together.
We're doing British version, aren't we?
Yeah.
We could go with Ross Kemp. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually don't know much about him other than he was in Ultimate Force.
Bye-bye.
So, I guess Ross Kemp is the... Can we just get the entire cast to be bald people?
Yeah. I mean, we could even do an EastEnders reunion if you wanted.
I don't know enough about you.
Phil. God, Phil.
I know Danny Dyer is in the EastEnders,
Wait a minute.
isn't he?
What, brother? Phil. Grant. Wait a minute. What? What's going on?
You know how there's the James Bond's Q.
Yes.
And like he has to, and Jason Statham had David Harbour as his Q in A Working Man. Can we get Danny Dyer as the Q in this one? But we shave his head.
So he's a cue ball.
He's a cue ball.
So you can make a joke about that.
Yeah.
So Danny Dyer could say something like, "Hey, this makes me think I'm basically like your cue," and Jason Statham just looks at him and goes, "More like cue ball," but he delivers it like an action one-liner, like he's about to hit him.
Can you do a good Danny Dyer?
Maybe he could hit him, like inexplicably.
Yeah, he could.
More like cue ball, and then he roundhouse kicks him, and then that's the end of the scene.
He hits him in the head with a cue, with a snooker cue.
Oh yeah,
and he goes rolling through the front door.
Which also doubles as a torpedo.
Yeah, 10 points. That's what they say in snooker, right?
White ball, corner pocket. Just hits him over the
head. Okay, so I guess
game called off because of foul play. Sorry, go on.
Michael Chiklis he's the brother who's gone missing. Is he?
No. Ross Kemp is the brother who's gone missing.
Sorry, Ross Kemp is the brother who's gone missing. But who's the villain who's kidnapped?
For anyone who doesn't know who Ross Kemp is, I don't really know who our viewership listeners are. But if you don't know who Ross Kemp is, that's probably just because you're living outside of Britain. He was in a very popular soap called EastEnders. Mm-hmm. He is also bald.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much all you need to know.
Jason Statham.
Like Jason Statham, yes.
And when we shave Danny Dyer.
Which we will do.
Who's the big boss man that could be?
Lots of flowing hair. Loads of hair.
This is like the inverted man paradox thing.
Yeah. Remember when we did Greg Kinnear with the long hair?
Yeah. So someone with really, really long hair, he's the opposing man.
Who would look good with long hair? It doesn't have to be someone who has long hair normally.
Who's that guy on all those romance novels?
Oh, Fabulous. No. Let's just stick Woody Harrelson in a bad wig.
Oh, there we go. Just like
then we can have copious scenes where he's talking about his hair and the humor comes from we know you're bald, Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good shout. Woody Harrelson, he could play a good villain. He's did some of that before in the past. So he's I think his.
Do you like my pitch? It's funny because Woody Harrelson's bald in real life,
but we put hair on him, so that's the funny bit.
We put fake hair on him.
we cast everyone with hair, shave them off, but we give the one person who doesn't have hair.
That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's another joke that the wig is bad, so it's not a hat on a hat; it's a hair on a hair joke.
Can it be a moment where
Lorne
he has
Michaels,
2 wigs?
Call me. Sorry.
Can there be a moment where he has 2 wigs and he rips it off and he reveals a different wig for absolutely no reason?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be like. Did you ever see the H3O ad that I was part of making years and years ago?
Yes. Yeah.
The fake sports drink, and he tears his shirt off to reveal another shirt underneath that's identical. So it could be like that. Like, I'm going to show you who I really am. It's just the same wig.
That's the most simplest funny gag, revealing something that's already been there all along.
It was funny actually that like I really had to explain it to people like before we filmed it. Like some people got it straight away. They were like, "Oh, okay, yeah, he's got a vest on, and then he rips the vest off to show how strong he is, and there's another vest underneath."
Matt, I don't understand why he would have another shirt underneath.
There were some people like, "Wait, no, he's already got a shirt on." And I was like, "Yeah, but he needs to put the second one on." Like for costume reasons. And they were like, yeah, but he's already got
that doesn't make any sense.
But the vest is the same color as well. What's the point? And I'm like, well, the point is he rips it off and then there's another vest underneath.
Yeah. You know,
it made the cut. It made the cut.
Yeah. It's like when someone takes off glasses and they've got another pair of glasses behind.
Yes. Airplane style. I love that gag.
Yeah.
Or when he's like standing in the same pose that the picture of him is behind.
Oh yeah.
That's a good gag. It's a classic.
Good gag. So we've got all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
We barely have a plot. We've got, so
we just need to make it as complicated as possible.
Yeah. So how about the structure of the movie is the same structure of how you would file your tax returns?
Oh, now I've never filed my tax returns because I've never been a freelancer. So this is where your expertise
let me tell you,
in.
right? Okay, let me tell you.
Give me the secrets. Give me the skinny here. Spoiler territory.
If you file your tax returns, right, you're actually projecting the next year's taxes. And that is as convoluted as the plot needs to be.
That's as fun as it could get. So it could be he thinks his brother. Oh, he could spend most of the movie thinking his brother is turned evil.
Yeah,
he's made an algorithm that can steal everyone's tax returns. All right. But then it's later revealed that like maybe the real bad guy, Woody Harrelson in a wig, is like forcing it. Maybe he's forcing him to do it,
right?
Because who are we having as the main guy?
The main guy, Jason Statham.
It's Jason Statham. Because Jason Statham came after him one year, back when Woody Harrelson was self-employed.
Oh, okay.
And Jason Statham got him on some like really like nitty, like some technicality, some small thing.
Mm.
Like actually, there's a comma in that sentence, which means you owe us another 500 quid, mate.
Here's a plot twist, right? They go off to try and find who is it that we had as the main villain?
Woody Harrelson.
Oh, Woody Harrelson, yeah. They go and try and find Woody Harrelson, and they get to his lair, and he's not there. Turns out...
That's weird. Go on.
Well, that's weird. Why would anyone
Every
not
time
pay
he walks
their
into a
taxes?
building, he's like, that's weird. There's something off. Like, that's weird. They put people's names on the cups.
You know what? Turns out, right? He's actually fled the country to avoid tax.
Okay.
And what's the one country that's tax-free? Dubai, baby.
Dubai, baby.
Yeah. So he flies off to Dubai.
They can go to all the tax havens. So there could be a montage. We can make it slightly spy.
And he's like,
so
I don't understand.
Go to Switzerland.
People
go
don't
to
pay tax here.
Yeah. Walks into his room.
Wait a second.
Yeah. Wait a second. This doesn't make sense. There's taxes all over the wall.
Like every time he goes to an airport and everyone says duty free, he's like, you're just so confused. Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
What do you mean? Everything's tax-free.
That'll be £5, please.
Wait a minute, that's normally £6 back home.
He gives him too much. That's too much money. Wait a second.
Here's your change.
Oh, that's weird. Normally I call it a rebate.
Okay. I don't think there needs to be much more added to this movie other than the fact that he gets to Woody Harrelson and he finds him and then he needs to kill him off somehow. What's the best thing that he can use as a weapon?
To kill Woody Harrelson off? To
kill Woody Harrelson, yeah. I guess like pen and
he gets
paper.
his long hair stuck in a
shredder.
A shredder. I was thinking like one of those industrial crushers. Like, you know, those two big wheels where they roll together and then he gets his hair stuck.
Yeah,
his hair stuck in it. I thought, what are they used for?
Well, what if it's like the reason why Dubai is tax-free is because there's this massive shredder and they're just shredding everything, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and that's and turns out Woody Harrelson is the man who does that. He's the guy who makes Dubai tax-free.
Yeah.
He's the shredder. And he gets his hair caught in the shredding machine somehow by accident. Or, you know, Jason Statham like...
Oh, that's weird. You shouldn't normally put hair in there.
Meanwhile, blood spurting out of the machine. Oh, interesting. That's a bit strange.
That's weird.
Usually paper goes in there. Gonna end with him just going like, oh, that's weird.
That's weird.
And then credits roll.
That's weird. Normally the end credits would be...
Yeah.
Jason Statham will be confused in The Taxman 2.
Jason Statham will file his tax returns.
Will file his tax returns next year.
Perfect. We did it.
And then instead of like, you just suggested like the action music, but you know how when you have the end credits, usually the end credits are so long that you need 2 songs. So you could start with like the classic, like Face Off for anyone who wants to know.
Yeah.
And then
or Speed.
After that, when that song finishes, was it Face Off or Speed?
Speed is the one that goes bum 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 bum, and you hear the bus go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bum 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 bum.
What's Face Off then?
It was cans.
Whoa.
Whoa. It's like, oh my God, would you hit a baby? No, cans. Remember that? There was a trolley full of cans, and they thought they hit. No, there was a stroller full of cans.
Yeah,
and they hit it, thinking it was a baby, and then Charlie Brown was like, no.
That's weird. You don't normally put cans in it.
You don't put cans in the stroller. Yeah.
But then the second song is just like a really laid back, like a dub remix of like loads of. That's weird. And then you just like you put that over the top of like a drum beat and.
What? That's weird. Weird.
Like how they did with Wolf of Wall Street, where they put McConaughey's. Like they put.
Oh, did they do that in the credits?
They put that over some music, I think. So we could do the same. We're like, that's weird. Tax returns everywhere. Where?
Yeah, and then you know when you get to that part in the credits where
tax on the ceiling. Tax on the floor.
Tax in my house. Tax on the mouse. Jason Statham, what else could you run? You get the credits. The credits roll.
Floor. Tax on my door. Tax is no more.
That's when the key change happens.
Tax is a bore. And then you get like the when it's scrolling through the credits, you get all the song titles.
Yeah,
and then it's like the Tax song by Jason Statham, remixed by who's a famous DJ.
Well, we could have that as HMRC remixed. By His Majesty's Royal Crumpet remix.
Oh, and the post-credit scene could be.
I
was going to say the post-credit scene could just be Jason Statham on the phone, right, to HMRC, and it's the HMRC hold music.
But remixed with...
That's weird.
Tax on the floor.
Tax on my phone. Tax on my dome.
Tax in my bones. Taxes in Rome. Tax all around the world.
I think we've got a movie.
I think we've done it. Jerry Bruckheimer.
And Ross Kemp helps him out.
Yep.
They get back together.
Mm-hmm. No, that's in Taxman too.
Oh, that's in Taxman too. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's weird. That's normally where the podcast episode ends.
Chatting Pitch has been brought to you by Leslie Way and Matthew D. Smith. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to listen to others and maybe even subscribe. You can follow us on the website, formerly known as Twitter.
Listen to us on Spotify or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Leslie and Matthew have their own side hustles as well. Feel free to check out Leslie's YouTube channel or Matthew's Medium blog. Links in the description. If you want anything else, we might have other links in the description if we think of anything interesting to add. Thank you for listening. I love you.